And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Sobros Network proudly brings to you some in-depth movie discussion with our resident film critic, Brandon Vick.
Happy evening, everyone. The Vick's Flicks podcast is here.
Welcome back for another episode of the Vick's Flicks podcast right here on Nashville Movie Dispatch. I'll be your host for the show, the EIC at SobrosNetwork.com, Big Natural, Stoney Keeley. Joining me as usual is the star of the show, the man whose namesake it bears. He is a board member of the Music City Film Critics Association, a member of the Southeastern Film Critics Association. He's our resident film critic around these parts, Mr. Big Shot Brandon Vick. Brandon, how you doing today, my man?
Oh, pretty good on this fine April day.
Yeah, we got a big girthy topic to dig into today.
And I think he's got one big girthy.
He's got a big girthy
he's
topic.
Got a big yeah.
Yeah, all right.
In his khakis.
Well, we are going to be talking about the filmography of Ben Affleck. The Accountant 2 comes out later this week.
Yep.
It is I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a banger.
Have you seen the first one?
So I actually just watched the first one because it's on Max.
Yeah,
and
I
watched it like completely unknowing to the fact that a second one was coming out.
Oh, okay.
And so
you just did it out of fun.
Yeah, I just did it because it was a movie that I'd always heard you guys talk about throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I never caught it. And so when it popped up when I was scrolling Max, I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch this now." And then I don't remember what I went to see, but not even a week afterwards, I was at the theater and they showed a preview for The Accountant 2. And I was like, "Well, I'll be damned." That is something right there. But what were your thoughts on the first one?
I liked it. I thought it was a bit ridiculous on it's not all logical as much as you might want to think it is. But yeah, I did like his character. I thought Ben Affleck was good in it. I liked Anna Kendrick in it. I did like the twists in it. It was a nice surprise. Yeah. I don't know if it all connects like it should, but in its defense, I also think I think it's clever enough to enjoy it and to just kind of roll with it.
For sure.
And it's got a great way. J.K. Simmons is in it.
Yeah.
It's a nice cast led by Affleck. And so I was shocked to hear that there was going to be a sequel.
Did it feel like a movie that needed a sequel? No, I didn't think so either. But
then I thought, I swear I read somewhere it was going to be like an Amazon Prime movie. Like it was going to be a sequel, but it's going to be streaming. So then I was shocked to find out, like, no, it's getting a full release. But with all that, so it premiered last month at South by Southwest, and I read some good stuff about it. From what I gathered, it's doesn't take itself as seriously, which I'm happy to hear.
I feel like the first one did take itself a little seriously.
So I'm glad they're kind of leaning into it a bit. Mm-hmm. It is more of and I actually saw a new preview, I think when I went to see Black Bag maybe last month, but I think it's sort of like a buddy action comedy with John Berthal as his brother.
That's what it feels like.
So I'm in. I'm actually excited about it. It's one of the big movies of like kind of this first 4 months kind of heading into summer blockbuster season. Yeah. It seems like it'll be fun.
I'm stoked. It feels like a very different Ben Affleck.
It feels like a very different Accountant movie too as well.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
But yes, it is a different Affleck.
But I'm a big fan of John Bernthal too. And
me too.
I'm not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I get it with him. But I would love to see him kind of get into some more different roles than a lot of this like enforcer mercenary kind of stuff, because he's the Punisher in a lot of movies, it feels like.
Yes, I mean he is kind of known for the
what did I see him in? Is he in? It was like an old-timey movie. Does he have a role? Am I thinking of being the Ricardos for some reason? No, I'm going to have to look up his filmography.
That might be true.
But I feel like he's in...
Well, the thing that I would say is I think a lot of people probably noticed him because he is in The Bear. He's scattered out through The Bear.
Yeah.
But he is playing Jeremy Allen White's older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give him credit. I think a lot of attention's been put on that show, and when he is in it, I like his role as the brother, and I like kind of the take that he has where you can kind of see where Jeremy Allen White wants to be him and then wants to be different from him.
Yeah. I did not realize that he is...
King Richard.
King Richard is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I did not realize that he's actually cast in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Which I think half the actors in Hollywood are. Oh, yeah, he was in Ford versus Ferrari as well.
Yeah.
The Peanut Butter Falcon. Yeah, I guess maybe I just need to...
You need to catch up on him.
I need to do. To catch up on him.
But he is. But he's also is kind of known for being. He is kind of known for kind of being the, like you said, kind of the enforcer thing, and
Baby Driver.
And it's like anything else. If you're associated with some kind of comic book thing. But here's the thing. I have never watched him as the Punisher, ever.
Oh, my. You haven't?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Someone said, dude, he's really cool in it. And I said, nope.
Well, here's the thing. You probably already have a pretty good idea of what it's like.
Yeah, I do.
From watching his other roles.
Yeah.
But there is some stuff that, the Netflix verse before it came under the Marvel umbrella, they really pushed the envelope in terms of violence.
I'd like to remind the younger listeners that my Punisher is Thomas Jane.
Touche.
So
Touche.
Take that.
Yeah.
Which, let me bring it back to Ben Affleck. That Charlie guy ain't my Daredevil. Ben Affleck is my.
You're out on Charlie Cox. You're in on.
Yeah,
Ben
I did
Affleck.
hear all those shows are pretty good though. I should watch them. But
how many seasons of Daredevil did you watch?
None.
Nope. Oh man.
I watched the good ones. Luke Cage.
I liked Luke Cage.
And
Jessica Jones and Iron Fist I thought were okay, but I don't
even know if I finished Iron Fist.
I liked Luke Cage quite a bit.
I did like Luke Cage.
But Daredevil, I think is probably the best Marvel
I've
show.
heard that it is the best Marvel
I mean,
show.
like not just of everything.
Oh,
MCU, Disney Plus.
Is the new one good?
We're only
okay, so you just started, sounds like
3 episodes in.
Yeah.
And I get why people like it, but it feels very Marvelified to me.
I will tell you, I think Charlie Cox does make a cool Daredevil.
Yeah.
I like Vincent as Kingpin. I think he's great. And I like anything, I think the casting is awesome. And so for John Barthol to be the Punisher, like that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I feel like if it wasn't him, Frank Grillo's next. Yeah. It has to be him or Frank Grillo. It has to be.
What did you think of Ben Affleck's Daredevil? Because that movie gets kind of shit on.
I think it probably is as stupid as people, or as dumb as people think it is.
I want to go back and watch it.
I thought it was cool when I first watched it. I thought Colin Farrell's Bullseye was really cool.
Yeah.
And is it Michael Clark Duncan was Kingpin on that one, right?
He was, yeah.
And I'll tell you why, because I remember thinking Daredevil was like Elektra, and I thought Elektra was cool, and now I'm coming around to that. I have a feeling both of them were probably dumb. It was in that era of the I think Blade 2 and Blade Trinity was around that time.
Hulk with Eric Bana had just come out. Fantastic Four was on the way.
So I think I have a feeling
Spider-Man movies, X-Men movies.
It's probably not as cool as I remember.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like why is everybody hard on the Ben Affleck Daredevil but not the other superhero movies of the time? Because to me it just feels like any old one of them.
So I totally agree, because I don't think it was Ben Affleck's fault. I think that's how superhero movies were being done. Even to the fact where Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. They're all still relatively the same. I think it's just kind of what story did you want to tell? There might be a better Daredevil story to tell, but I don't think Ben Affleck as Daredevil was awful. I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
I did too.
So
I felt like he
take
was.
That.
like both dips into the superhero world were kind of unfortunate because I don't think
he didn't get the time.
The thing that Daredevil as a character, it's like it's kind of some like deeply traumatic subject matter to get into, like his upbringing.
Like his Batman? Is that what you're talking about?
His Daredevil.
Oh, Daredevil. Sorry,
the Daredevil character, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't think Daredevil works. The reason the Netflix series is so good is because they really went in with Charlie Cox, like the pain of the character.
There's some real depth there.
It's not real, like the entire first season. I don't, not to spoil it for you, but the entire first season is like fleshing out how he becomes Daredevil.
Yeah,
and
I didn't think he wore the suit until towards the end.
Yeah, everything about it is just like deep, dark, and it felt like they tried to go the cartoony superhero genre of the time route with the movie. And like you said, that's not Ben Affleck's fault.
If that first movie was like that first season, people would have hated it.
Yeah.
So
and to your point about Batman, I felt like there was a darkness behind the character.
Yes.
It's like there was always something behind the eyes.
Been through some shit
with Ben Affleck that just the victim of like shitty hot mess storytelling where you never really got to flesh that out.
And there was a time where he was going to make his own Batman movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he ended up finally having to walk away, but I think it's a shame because I think he would have done a tremendous job with it.
I do too. So I try, like, people, and they're popular movies that a lot of people go see. They make a ton of money. And you think about all the other stuff with Ben Affleck, the relationships and all the stuff.
That's what I was going to say. He's so publicly scrutinized for every little thing. And even Matt Damon has made jokes about like how he couldn't live like Affleck's life.
Yeah.
Like, and he'll make a joke about, well, if I did that, no one would care. But if Ben did it, and it's true because the J-Lo stuff, Jennifer Gardner stuff, and then those movies himself, and he had his own addictions and dealing with those. But through it all, he's still making good stuff, and he's still
that's what the point I was getting at here was that, like, you think about the superhero movies, you think about some of the stuff that is like
Michael Bay action,
comically bad, like Geely,
yeah.
whatever it was,
like
still panned widely as like one of the worst films ever. You think about all the tabloid stuff with the girlfriends and the substance abuse and that sort of stuff. I think it kind of unfairly cast Ben Affleck as like a pop culture guy that doesn't have like any merit.
And they like to kick him around because what is that picture always? Is he holding a Starbucks and smoking a cigarette with his eyes rolled?
It's like,
could life get any worse?
Yeah, it's like
I see that all the time.
Stepping outside from the family at Thanksgiving, kind of deal. That's what it is. But I think it all of that kind of clouds what a visionary filmmaker he is and what a talented actor he is.
He's a super talented guy, and I think directing was the best decision he ever made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did not realize that he's let me check and double. Does he has an Oscar as a writer? Didn't Good Will Hunting win for original screenplay?
I think he also won for Argo for best picture.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
but didn't get nominated at all.
He's got some chops.
He does.
Which is interesting, and we'll dig into that as we get into his filmography. So 90s guy, I would say. He bursts onto the scene. I mean, he's got a couple of acting credits. He was an extra in Field of Dreams in 1989. He has a credit as Tommy in a film called The Dark End of the Street in 1981. But other than that, like, he's got a credit in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a film called School Ties that has Brendan Fraser.
Yes, have you seen that?
No, I never did.
Oh, it's about he goes to this school and Brendan Fraser hides that he's Jewish, and then they find out, and Ben Affleck, Matt Damon is like the main like prick of the bunch.
Yeah.
But Ben Affleck, and there's some other noticeable faces in there that they all play on the football team and everything, and then they find out he's a Jew. So it's actually really good.
Well, we might have to add that to our movie review rewind.
Yeah, I liked it.
I feel like a lot of a lot of his fame, like people really started to notice him after a supporting role in Dazed and Confused. He does Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and then
It's the Kevin Smith stuff at first.
The Kevin Smith stuff at first kind of puts him on the map a little bit. But like we always like to talk about on this show, when do you remember like the first time you really noticed Ben Affleck?
Oh, it was. I'm sure it was Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
I wasn't really into movies at the time. For me, it was around Pearl Harbor, The Sum of All Fears, Daredevil, the early 2000s. But
I want to say, because it's not that he was a huge part, but it was one of those where, especially when you find out like, oh, they wrote it together, they won Oscars together. So Good Will Hunting wasn't just the film, but it was kind of that awards season ride that they were on.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to Phantoms and Armageddon,
Armageddon was such a big fucking movie back in the day.
It was. I remember seeing it at the drive-in. That and the X-Files movie.
Yeah, which is Jerry Bruckheimer,
Yep.
Michael Bay,
Yep.
Bruce Willis, and then Ben Affleck. Like I don't even remember him being in it, but I just remember like the
You don't remember Ben Affleck in it?
No, I saw this movie. I'm with you. Like this was one that I think like my parents never really took me to the movies. When I was a kid, we'd go to like the summer movies that they would do at the Hermitage for that were like $1 tickets or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where I saw this. Like my mom took me to see it. I was 12 years old at the time, and I haven't watched it since. So like a very, very foggy memory of Armageddon. But remember the Aerosmith song? I remember it made a ton of money. Well, everybody went to see it.
Ben Affleck is dating Bruce Willis's daughter, played by Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, yeah.
And then they kind of have this like, there's tension between them, but then when they end up having to go save the world, and it's Michael Bay stuff, but it was cool for its time. It still might be cool in its own way.
Would you consider that his first blockbuster after the success of Good Will Hunting?
Yeah. That was his first.
Because I never saw Phantoms. I never saw Shakespeare in Love either, but I don't think either of those qualify as blockbusters.
No, and actually what's weird is Ben Affleck does kind of stick out, but I think it's only because like your introduction, even if it is Armageddon, but in like the Boston, like, roughneck in Good Will Hunting, you can't imagine him in this world, and he has like a little goatee.
Oh man, sign of the times.
Yeah,
sign of the times.
But yes, and 200 Cigarettes I remember seeing, but that's got a huge cast. Huge cast
wraps up the 1990s for him, along with Forces of Nature.
I do remember that with Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yeah, and then Steve Zahn's in that as well. Always love a good Steve Zahn.
Hell yeah.
Showing up.
I can't wait to do an episode on him.
And then Dogma, again, like the Kevin Smith stuff was kind of like his calling
He's been very loyal to Kevin Smith. Well, that won't be the last movie he does for Kevin.
Yeah, he has 4 credits in 2000. A movie called Bounce with him and Gwyneth Paltrow that I don't remember at all. Reindeer Games.
I do remember that one.
Boiler Room.
Yeah.
And then he's the voice in Joseph King of Dreams, which was an American direct-to-video animated biblical musical drama.
Wow. An hour and 14 minutes, though.
Yeah, so I don't remember that one at all.
I remember Reindeer Games. I remember Boiler Room because it was sort of like that early, like dark, like I want to say Wolf of Wall Street, but it's not. It's sort of like that if you take kind of that mentality that Wolf of Wall Street has.
Yeah, that and Reindeer Games were the two that stood out. Where
Bounce, I remember him and Gwyneth Paltrow in it, but I don't remember the movie.
Yeah. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back in 2001. Daddy and Them, another film I don't remember.
I don't remember that one either.
Like, this is a prolific actor.
But
he's got 4 credits in 2000, 3 in 2001, 3 in 2002, and 3 in 2003 before he slows down with only 2 in 2004.
I don't know who he plays, but Billy Bob Thornton wrote and directed that movie that has Lauren Dern, Diane Ladd, Kelly Preston, Andy Griffin, Jim Varney, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ben Affleck, and Walton Goggins.
Oh man, now we're talking.
But yeah, Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor was one that It was one of the earlier memories I had
Yes,
of him too.
me too.
And that was another Michael Bay,
Yeah.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Which I remember liking at the time, but I think I watched it, I don't know how many years ago, and it's a Michael Bay war movie, not a war movie.
So what you're saying is it's probably not as good as we remembered it.
Yes, because him and Josh Hartnett fight over Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
She's a nurse. And one of them, is it Ben Affleck? One of them they think is dead.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's not, but it's 3 hours long.
No way. I don't remember that.
I remember it being long.
I remember being a teenager and thinking, yes, Pearl Harbor, this is cinema.
Action. And what's the guy who's Angelina's dad? He played
John Voight.
Yeah. He
Voight.
had his, will live in infamy.
Cuba Gooding Jr., Alec Baldwin in that as well.
Yep.
I do remember Changing Lanes with him and
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson.
That was a cool movie.
being a pretty
Again,
cool movie.
I have not watched it in a very long time, but it's basically about road rage, and it's intense.
Yeah.
But I remember liking that one.
He gets his run as Jack Ryan in The Sum of All Fears in 2002, an adaptation of the Tom Clancy novel of the same name.
I remember thinking that was a good one. Morgan Freeman's in
I
that
did
with
too.
them. I'm curious just to see. I don't know if he got.
And
anybody.
he's still in these rom-coms. In 2002, a film called The Third Wheel that I don't remember
My
at all.
question is it also one of those where they're trying to capitalize on his popularity, and like he did that before Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, I would.
Comes out.
I would.
I have
I
a
would be
feeling
interested to dig into that.
I have a feeling there's some of that in there.
Because like I said, like this is a prolific filmography. There's a lot of actors that we do that don't have, they're not working on like 3 films a year.
But I will say,
so some of these were probably in the can.
You can tell he's kind of going down a certain route, and it's kind of easy to see where he changes it. Just by looking at what's coming through 2004.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. 2003, we've already talked about Daredevil a little bit. Geely, what you've seen the film, right? What is it? Why is it? Is it as bad as everybody?
I don't think it's
says?
the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not very good, and I guess you think with the stars in it, but it's very bland, and it does seem kind of. They both seem out of place. Like, I know they're both movie stars.
Yeah.
But it was almost like you put a real life couple in there and watch the sparks fly, and that's just not what happened. On top of the material not being very good. And it's also a remake of another movie.
So how do we feel about Paycheck? Science fiction, John Woo, Uma Thurman, Aaron Eckhart, Paul Giamatti, Michael C. Hall. That's a pretty interesting cast. I don't remember. It's another film. We've talked about a lot of these where it's like, saw it back then, haven't watched it since, but I remember thinking it was pretty cool too.
I remember thinking it was all right, but I have a feeling if I'm going to see it now, I bet you it is a forgettable experience. And I'll be honest, even if I sort of liked it then, I don't really remember much about it.
2004 was Surviving Christmas. I wasn't a big fan of that one.
It's fun to watch during Christmas. It's not very good, but neither is like half the shit I watch, like Christmas with the Cranks and Deck the Halls. So,
and I felt like Jersey Girl really wanted to be better than it really was, but I don't remember much about that film.
And that's a Kevin Smith movie too.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
I liked this more because it felt like he was trying to get back to those kind of roots of being this drama, and he's with a director obviously he's very comfortable with. I would call it a small success. It's not a great movie, but I do think it has its moments.
Yeah. He has a cameo in Elektra that was actually cut from the film. It's only available in the director's cut.
Oh.
And then in 2006, that looks like he took a year off. 2005.
Yeah.
He has a cameo in Clerks 2. Again, him and Kevin Smith got a good thing going, I guess. He's in Man About Town, Hollywoodland, and Smokin' Aces, which we actually have a movie review rewind episode
We
in the
do.
backlog for, which actually I just remembered it's behind the Patreon paywall, so you can't get it. It might be up on Nashville Movie Dispatch one day, but
Got him.
no reason at all to bring that up. But what do you think about his 2006 slate?
Hollywoodland.
I never saw Hollywood.
Yeah, he plays. Oh my God.
Adrian Brody is on the poster.
Yeah.
He
George
plays Adrian
Reeves.
Brody.
George Reeves, who was the first Superman. And there was kind of this whole thing about his mysterious death where he basically, I remember the trailer even showing where he kind of goes upstairs and doesn't come back. And they kind of dive into what happened. Kind of, it kind of does play like a neo-noir type thing.
Yeah.
So but he's great as George Reeves. I think it's one of his better performances. And I think this was the first time in a long time where he, I think what Jersey Girl and what he was trying to do, I feel like Hollywoodland kind of got him back in the mix where it's a supporting role, but it's a pivotal one as well.
So it's like the I need to remind these people who I am.
Yeah,
kinda role.
like, hey, I can't act.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're starting to get into those movies too.
We're getting there.
Yeah. 2009, He's Just Not That Into You. You know what? I thought it was fine for what it is.
It's fine. And there's like 23 people carrying that movie.
Yeah.
So it's
big
fine.
cast. State of Play, I thought was fine.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Him, Russell Crowe, and Helen Mirren, and Rachel McAdams. I really liked. I liked his character, but obviously it's the work of the entire ensemble. But overall, I think that's one of his better movies up to this point.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Extract was also in 2009. I never saw that, but Mike Judge. I mean, you look at some of the names that he's
it's
worked
not like
with.
he's working with.
It's
I almost just said dildos. I don't know why.
it's he's kind of dipping his toes into several different ponds. Like a lot of different styles, a lot of different filmmakers,
and he's staying away from the big budget stuff.
Yeah,
like not where there's maybe added pressure in
Fair
a
enough.
sense.
Yeah. So then in 2010, we get The Town, which is widely regarded. Is a very popular movie over the last decade and a half since it came out.
Yeah.
I had told you I have yet to finish it. I have started that movie approximately 15 times and fallen asleep.
Shame
every time.
on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because it's bad. I have a habit of
shame on you for resting.
Watching movies when I'm trying to relax, and so I'm starting movies at like 12:45 a.m. on a Saturday night, watching 15 minutes of it, and then I'm snoring.
I don't know how you do that. But yeah, and there's first of all, I just want before I get to The Town, there is two things. One, that same year, which I actually have a movie review rewind on SoBrosNetwork.com about, called The Company Men. That has like Tommy Lee Jones, has Kevin Costner, and he that one's actually pretty good. I don't know, I wouldn't say he's a standout just because he's playing with some big players, but I did like that movie. But and I know we're looking at the actor part, but his directorial debut was Gone Baby Gone, which had he's not in it, but it has.
That's why I don't see it.
He has Casey Affleck, Ed Harris, Amy Ryan, and Morgan Freeman. It is a crime thriller where Amy Ryan's kid has gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I've been wanting to rewatch it. I've watched it more than once, but that's what made me excited for The Town. Now, he's in The Town as well, along with Jeremy Renner. Yes.
And wrote it.
Yeah, and Jeremy Renner got nominated for supporting actor.
Yeah.
And by the way, Amy Ryan was nominated and won, I think. Or no, she was just nominated for Gone Baby Gone for supporting actress. But I think The Town is one of his best movies. Acting, directing, doesn't matter. It holds up to this day. It's so well executed and shot. I love the characters. He's back in Boston. I love it.
So 2012.
Now he's on a roll.
I was just about to say, like 2012 is Argo, directed, produced, starring Ben Affleck.
Yep. Ended up winning an Oscar for the Best Picture. But he was not. I think he was even. I swear he had been nominated in other award shows for Best Director, and I want to think he even won the DGA. And but it was after the fact because he wasn't nominated for Best Director for an Oscar. So, but yes, Argo is one of his best. I really enjoyed that. So, I mean, The Town and then Argo, good for him.
Yeah, he's also in a film called To the Wonder. I don't recall this one. 2012 American experimental romantic drama is Ben Affleck, Rachel McAdams, Javier Bardem, Olga Kurylenko.
Sure.
I don't recall this movie at all. Filmed in Oklahoma and Paris.
All you have to say is that's a Terrence Malick movie. So a lot of things are cut. A lot of things are barely shown. Sometimes the actor's head's not shown at all. Terrence Malick's been around for a long time. Tree of Life is his, is probably the most recent one that's gotten a lot of attention. But I don't even think I watched it all. Like, I think it was in and out of theaters. There's another one that has Ryan Gosling in it, and that just seemed to come and go. Yeah. So, not much there. Runner, I kind of like because he was a villain with JT.
Justin Timberlake. Again, like Anthony Mackie's in that movie as well. Just working with a wide array of people. I did not realize Gone Girl was David Fincher.
Oh, yeah.
But I liked Gone Girl quite a bit. Man, that was Carrie Coon's film debut. Was Gone Girl?
It was?
That's what Wikipedia
she's worked
says.
I guess TV and then
TV, yeah. And then that gets us to the mid-2010s where you've got Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021. Sprinkled in there is The Accountant, which we've talked about.
Right.
A film called Live by Night. Film
he directed.
Called Triple Frontier, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's back with Kevin Smith. The Last Thing He Wanted, film I don't remember.
I think it's a Netflix one, but it also had Anne Hathaway. It had a nice cast, but it did not. It was okay. Again, it didn't do much for me.
And then a sneaky movie, COVID year, so it kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit. The Way Back, which I thought was really good. What do you think about that run, the late 2010s there?
The Way Back is probably my favorite. It also feels somewhat personal because it is about addiction and being a drunk. Substance abuse. Triple Frontier was kind of cool. I liked it.
I never caught that one.
That's another Netflix one. Live by Night was forgettable. That was kind of the first kind of letdown because he did direct that one as well.
And so that's off the run of the films we just talked about too.
Right.
So
like we've already talked about his Batman. I mean, the movies didn't really do him justice.
Yeah, I would agree.
We talked about The Accountant, but yeah, I would say, and it was a sneaky one, but The Way Back was I enjoyed that one.
Was that ever supposed to get a theatrical run?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in March, and anyway, and then there was even talk of trying to even get in, there was Oscar talk. I mean, obviously it was COVID year, so it was weird anyway. But he had one of the best performances of that year.
So then from 2021 on to get us up to where we're at, he's in The Last Duel.
I like that one.
The Tender Bar, Deep Water, a cameo in Clerks 3. You got it.
Yep.
Air in 2023 is one of my favorites of his.
Yes.
He plays Phil Knight.
And he directed that.
Yeah. And then he's in a Robert Rodriguez film called Hypnotic. I don't remember that one at all either.
You're lucky.
And This Is Me, Now a Love Story. That's
that
Jennifer
dealt with
Lopez
J-Lo,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Skip that one.
We'll skip that one. And that gets us to The Accountant too, aside from an uncredited cameo in The Flash.
The Deep Water was supposed to be something. That was a Hulu movie with Ana de Armas. That was supposed to be this kind of sexy, sultry thing that didn't live up to the hype. I like him in The Tender Bar. The movie is all right, but he plays the bartender, and I really liked his scenes. And there was even talk of maybe a supporting actor nomination for that, which it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But But yeah, Hypnotic was a bust, but Air obviously is the one. And again, Matt Damon's in it, Viola Davis. He's got some good ones in there. I really like that one. That was way better than I thought it'd be about a Nike shoe.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. I'm with you. So, he has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, and he's won 2 Academy Awards.
There you go. It's a good record.
Best Original Screenplay for Good Will Hunting back in 1998, and then, like you said, Best Picture for Argo in 2013. Argo got 3 BAFTA noms, 1 Best Film, Best Direction. He was nominated but did not win for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Hollywoodland did land him a Supporting Actor nomination at the Golden Globes, though he did not win.
Yeah.
He got the nomination for Supporting Actor for The Tender Bar that year as well, but didn't win, as well as Air getting nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, though it did not win. But he did win for Good Will Hunting and for Argo. So that's an extensive body of work that we just kind of summed up in roughly 20 minutes or so.
What is go ahead. He is directing a new
The Animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a kidnapping thriller, I think, right? Directed by Affleck's going to be in it. Gillian Anderson, Kerry Washington, Stephen Yeun, Ray Fisher. They're all going to be in it. It looks like it's a Netflix movie. But yeah, it's a new kidnapping thriller.
How about that?
So
all right,
I look more forward to the stuff he directs than he acts, but the stuff he chooses to act in that he directs usually works out.
This was a difficult Mount Rushmore for me because I don't feel like I've seen his best films.
Well, then that's probably why it was difficult.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I haven't seen Argo. I haven't seen Hollywoodland. I haven't seen The Town, or I haven't finished The Town.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a stretch for me. But I ultimately landed on Good Will Hunting.
Right.
Air was pretty easy one. I put Gone Girl in there.
Yeah, he's great in it.
And then I'm kind of torn because I think, oh man, I really liked The Way Back.
Yeah, me too.
And I feel like it's a cop-out, but I'm going to go with The Way Back just because I enjoyed it more. I kind of feel like The Accountant is a better film, but I enjoyed The Way Back more.
I think you chose the better film and the better performance. I do, yeah.
Okay. Well.
Mine is kind of easy, even though that 4 spot is kind of, I feel like you could kind of rotate that a little bit.
Yeah.
But as far as just Ben Affleck and the movies he's in, I mean, you can't really not have Good Will Hunting in there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
You know, Air, Argo, and The Town.
Yeah.
If I go by kind of like, okay, are we talking like just like with his performances wise, I could take out Good Will Hunting and put in The Way Back and still have Argo Air. Yeah.
I'm surprised because I don't feel like The Way Back gets the credit it deserves.
I don't think it does either. And I don't know if it's because of when it came out.
I think that probably has a lot to do with it.
But I feel like it, but I think part of it is it came at the right time in Affleck's career, and I would say when whatever journey he was on.
Yeah.
I think it came at a good time. And it felt very it felt very personal, like I said, but it also felt like that role was for him. Like it was the right timing in his life where he could absolutely relate in whatever form, not whether it was worse or whatever. So, but I would put that in. And then if I just go by Ben Affleck, I would probably go Argo, Air, The Town. I would almost do all of his directing. If he wasn't in it, I would Gone Baby Gone would probably be in there.
Cool.
So switch them out, but yes, Good Will Hunting I feel like has to be in there.
Yeah.
It's not really his movie.
No,
So
but it's
I would put the way back in there if I had
Yeah.
to take that one out. But,
fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, he's
So
sort of underestimated still, and I think that's weird.
what I was gonna ask you is like, do you feel like he's underrated, or and then I got to thinking about it. And I was like, I don't know if underrated is the right word.
I think he's underappreciated.
I feel like he's rated for the wrong reasons to
Yeah.
begin with. But if you
I
take
think-
his merit, like at as far as his best stuff goes,
Yeah,
I'd put him toe to toe with just about anybody in the game today.
I would too. And honestly, I think being that the director part of him has really kind of put him on a different level than if he was just still acting.
Yeah.
I think there would still kind of be this perception of him on kind of the way, like you kind of explained, like sort of like, the hits and the misses and the more of the tabloid shit. But I think being a director really changed how he's at least professionally doing the projects he's doing.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's made a huge impact, and it's made me a bigger fan.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's a great place for us to wrap up on this month's episode too. So
I like it. Accountant 2. I'm pumped.
yeah,
We'll see what him and John bring.
can't wait. He's Brandon Vick. I'm Stoney Keeley. We are the Nashville Movie Dispatch. You can check out all of our work at nashvillemoviedispatch.substack.com. Subscribe to Nashville Movie Dispatch wherever you take in your podcast. We ain't too hard to find. And until next time, you stay classy, moviegoers.